Bandit by Red Team. The players will control a raccoon who has the ability to jump, swim, climb, run, or walk on 2 feet if the player chooses. Passive abilities are available such as nocturnal vision and better hearing. During night, the players will have natural ability to see better and will have the advantage over human enemies. They also have a better hearing, which allow them to focus on potential incoming dangers. Players will also be able to push objects around such as boxes to aid themselves in avoiding enemy detection or climbing higher. Rules and goals. The player's goal will be to collect items such as food while avoiding enemy NPCs and fighting the clock. The items that the player collects will be determined by where the player will go to retrieve these items. The levels are non-linear and will contain environmental hazards as well as enemies. Players lose if they lose all their health or run out of time. They win if they collect all the items and exit the level safely. Stunning an enemy will add time to the level timer. Enemies. In addition to watching for the timer in each level, players have to carefully navigate around human and animal NPCs. If the player is detected, enemies will be alerted and will attack the player with various weapons depending on the enemy. Certain actions such as making noise will also alert the enemies. Players must navigate around or stun enemies to create opportunities to complete objectives. Some notable enemies are hunters, who will catch you and throw you in a cage, ending the game, or the yard dog, who can be evaded if caught, but will hinder you, making you an easy target for capture. Levels are non-linear and will contain environmental hazards as well as enemies. Automobiles are an example of an environmental hazard. The player will start in one area of the level and proceed to its end. When encountering enemies, the player will run into some that attack with melee weapons or others with ranged weapons. The layouts of the levels are that of a neighborhood with front and backyards. Players will be able to cross the street to explore the opposite side of the level and collect items as well, all while trying to avoid dangers and hazards. Player decisions. Players may search the environment for items found in areas of danger. They will also need to balance the risk and reward when acquiring these items and the likelihood of detection. Players can avoid detection by using environmental objects to hide or circumventing detection altogether. Theme, genre, perspective. The game will be a single-player top-down 2D stealth adventure game with 3D assets and environments. Possibility space. The game will allow setups for enemy AI using sight and sound metrics. Various enemies around each level will challenge the player and allow for combat against them. Environmental obstacles and enemies, along with level timers, will encourage players to increase their pace, which in turn will increase the risks taken. Finding the balance in how fast the enemies move while also having adequate rewards for the player could prove challenging, but through playtests we could quickly find the right balance. We've never done a stealth game before, so designing any levels and making character controllers that feel good in a game that is slower than a typical game will be a challenge. But we can circumvent this by prototyping action blocks for these mechanics. A game where players live the basic life of a raccoon. Known for being trash pandas, we seek to give players the experience that a raccoon would have on a day-to-day basis by sneaking around into people's trash and collecting the available scraps of food. Sneak around, don't get caught, steal some stuff. Be a bandit.